The Galactic Council chamber floated above a blue star, silent and vast. Thousands of seats formed a perfect circle, each one filled by a different species. Some were tall and glowing. Some were made of metal. Some did not even have faces. They ruled the galaxy. Wars began and ended here. Planets lived or died by votes made in this room. On this day, the Council gathered for one reason only. Humans, a young species, late to the stars, born on a single fragile world. Most Council members did not understand why humans were even invited. "They are weak," said a tall insect-like delegate. "No planet shields. No ancient fleets. They fight among themselves," another added. "How dangerous can they be?" Laughter moved through the chamber. At the center platform stood one human. He was small compared to the others. No armor, no weapons, just a dark uniform and calm eyes. His name was Ambassador Elias Morgan. He waited while the Council spoke about his species, as if he were not there. Finally, the High Speaker raised a glowing limb. "Human," the Speaker said, "you may speak." The room fell quiet. Elias stepped forward. He did not shout. He did not threaten. His voice was steady. "Members of the Galactic Council," he said, "humanity comes with a single message." He paused. "Do not attack us." The silence broke into laughter. Some delegates mocked openly. Others smiled with pity. The ZYRR Dominion representative leaned forward, a massive armored being with burning red eyes. "That is it?" the ZYRR asked. "No demands? No offers? Just fear?" Elias shook his head slowly. "It is not fear," he said. "It is a warning." More laughter. The High Speaker tilted slightly. "Why should the galaxy fear humans?" the Speaker asked. "You control few systems. Your fleets are small." Elias looked around the chamber. "We do not fight for territory," he said. "We fight for survival." The ZYRR delegate stood. "Then learn your place," it growled. "The galaxy belongs to those strong enough to take it." Elias did not argue. He only said one last sentence. "If you attack humans," he said, "we will deny you every last opportunity." The Council dismissed him minutes later. No record was marked urgent. No alert was sent. To the galaxy, it was just another weak species making noise. Far from the Council chamber, on the edge of human space, a small colony orbited a red dwarf star. It was peaceful. Families lived there. Children played under artificial skies. Cargo ships came once a week. No military fleet protected it. That was why the ZYRR Dominion chose it. The ZYRR believed in simple rules. Strength decides truth. Their fleet arrived without warning. Human defense satellites detected them too late. The ZYRR ships fired once. The colony was gone. No battle. No resistance. Just silence. The ZYRR commander watched the explosion with satisfaction. "Send the recording to the Council," he said. "Let them see what happens to weak worlds." The message was sent. The galaxy waited for the human response. None came. Hours passed. Then days. No emergency broadcast. No call for help. Human space went quiet. The ZYRR Dominion grew confident. "They are finished," the commander said. They were bluffing. Other empires agreed. Some even praised the ZYRR. "A necessary lesson," they said. But not everyone felt at ease. A trader near human space reported something strange. Navigation markers vanished. Communication relays stopped responding. No debris, no damage, just gone. Deep inside human territory, leaders gathered in a secure room beneath Earth's surface. Screens showed the destroyed colony. No one spoke for a long time. A woman finally broke the silence. "They crossed the line," she said. Another nodded. "We warned them." There was no anger in the room, only certainty. A man at the end of the table asked quietly, "Do we respond?" The answer came without hesitation. "Yes," the leader said, "but not how they expect." Orders were sent, not to fleets, not to armies, but to systems that controlled access, trade, and movement. Human war did not begin with weapons. It began with denial. The ZYRR Dominion attempted to send a follow-up message. It bounced back. They tried again. Nothing. Their supply ships failed to reach forward fleets. Jump gates near human space shut down. A ZYRR scout ship vanished while retreating. No explosion. No wreckage. Just gone. The ZYRR commander frowned. Where are the human ships? He demanded. Sensors showed nothing. But something was watching. In the council chamber, reports began to arrive. One empire lost trade access. Another lost communication near human borders. Still, no human fleet appeared. The High Speaker reviewed the data. This is coincidence, the speaker said. But doubt had entered the room. The ZYRR delegate said nothing. For the first time, his eyes were uneasy. Far away, Ambassador Elias Morgan stood alone, looking at a star map. The red mark of the destroyed colony pulsed softly. A junior officer approached him. "Sir," she said, "the galaxy still thinks we are weak." Elias nodded. "That's fine," he replied. "They always do until it's too late." He turned away from the map. "The warning was given," he said. "Now they will learn what it meant." And across the galaxy, doors began to close. Not with explosions, not with screams, but quietly, one opportunity at a time. The strike came without ceremony. There was no final warning, no speech, no grand declaration of war. Only a sudden flash of light in the dark space near Earth's outer defense line. The alien fleet believed it was a clean attack, precise, calculated, final. Their weapons tore through several human listening stations. Silent satellites shattered into cold debris. Long-range scanners went blind one by one. To the invaders, it looked perfect. No alarms followed. No counterattack came. Only silence. The alien commanders watched their screens with satisfaction. Human space, once full of quiet signals and harmless traffic, now showed nothing at all. Human communications have ceased, one officer reported. Resistance minimal, said another. They are stunned, the high strategist concluded. As expected, they waited for panic signals. They waited for desperate transmissions. They waited for surrender. Nothing came. Minutes passed, then hours. Still silence. At first, they enjoyed it. Silence meant victory. Silence meant fear. Silence meant the humans had finally understood their place in the galaxy. But slowly, that silence began to feel wrong. Human space was not empty. It had never been empty. Even during peace, there were always signals, civilian traffic, background noise, harmless chatter. Now there was nothing, not even static. It was as if the entire human presence had been erased. Deep inside the fleet, some officers felt uneasy. They did not say it out loud. Fear was not welcome in the War Council, but fear was there. The High Strategist ordered probes to be sent forward. Small, fast drones crossed into deeper human territory, scanning for survivors, signals, movement, anything. The drone sent back only images of stillness. Human colonies were intact. Cities stood untouched. Lights were on. Structures were whole. But there were no ships in orbit, no defense fleets, no traffic lanes. It looked peaceful, too peaceful. On one colony world, the drones detected power usage at normal levels. Atmosphere stable. Life signs present. Yet not a single transmission answered the probes. No greetings. No threats. No screams. Just silence. "This makes no sense," an officer whispered. "They should be responding." Another said, "Humans are loud." The High Strategist frowned. He had studied humans for years. They were emotional, unpredictable, proud. They did not accept humiliation quietly. And yet, here they were. Quiet. "Prepare the second strike," he ordered. "Destroy their military infrastructure completely." The alien fleet fired again. This time, they targeted shipyards, orbital docks, known military bases. Their weapons burned holes in space itself. Human structures vanished in fire and light. Still, no response. No counterfire. No emergency fleets. No angry broadcasts. The galaxy watched. Other civilizations monitored the conflict from afar. Many expected humans to fall quickly. They were new. They were reckless. They had refused alliances. They had ignored warnings. But even those who believed humans would lose did not expect this. "Why are they not fighting?" one observer asked. "Perhaps they were never strong," another replied. But some elder species felt something else. Dread, because silence in war often meant only one thing: preparation. On the third cycle after the strike, something changed. A single human signal appeared. Just one. It was old, primitive, a narrow-band transmission that barely cut through the noise of space. No encryption, no modern coding. It repeated the same short message again and again. Not a plea, not a threat, a warning. The alien fleet intercepted it and translated it within seconds. The message was simple. You were told not to attack. That was all. The high strategist laughed. "So this is our answer?" he said. Too late. He ordered the signal blocked and ignored. But the message did not stop. It began appearing everywhere, on civilian frequencies, on ancient emergency channels, even inside alien internal networks. Somehow, you were told not to attack. Officers tried to trace it. The source kept changing. Sometimes it came from deep space, sometimes from behind the fleet, sometimes from places with no human presence at all. The silence was breaking, but not with noise, with pressure. Human space remained empty as ships. No fleets moved, no weapons fired. Yet systems inside the alien fleet began to malfunction. Navigation errors appeared without cause. Long-range sensors showed false readings. Communication delays grew longer. Nothing catastrophic, nothing obvious, just small problems, accumulating. The high strategist dismissed the concerns. "Coincidence," he said. "Human technology is inferior." But his officers were no longer convinced. Scouts sent into human territory stopped returning. Not destroyed, not damaged, simply gone. No wreckage, no distress calls. Gone. On the fifth cycle, an alien patrol ship vanished near a human colony world. The last data it sent showed empty space, then sudden darkness. No weapons fire detected, just silence. Panic began to spread quietly through the fleet. Still, the humans did not appear. No heroic charge, no desperate defense, only absence, and that absence felt deliberate. The elder species watching from afar began to remember old stories, stories passed down from earlier ages, stories about young civilizations that survived not by meeting force with force, but by refusing to play the enemy's game. Humans were known for adaptation, for endurance, for turning weakness into traps. The silence after the strike was not defeat. It was containment. The alien fleet had entered human space like predators, loud, confident, hungry. Now they were trapped inside a quiet cage they could not see. On the seventh cycle, the warning message changed, only slightly. You were told not to attack. Now you will learn why. And for the first time since the war began, the high strategist felt fear not of human weapons, but of what the silence was hiding. The galaxy did not notice the moment it began. There was no explosion, no loud signal, no announcement. One by one, doors started to close. The alien fleet still sat deep inside human space, waiting for a fight that never came. They watched empty stars and silent planets. Their weapons were charged. Their crews were ready. But nothing attacked them. Instead, access vanished. A ZYRR supply convoy attempted to jump toward the front lines. The jump failed. Not violently. Not dangerously. The gate simply refused to open. Engineers tried again. Then again. The coordinates were correct. The energy levels were stable. Still no passage. Reports spread quickly. Other ZYRR fleets experienced the same thing. Trade routes near human space became unreachable. Navigation markers vanished as if erased from reality. At first, commanders blamed software errors. Then they blamed sabotage. Then they stopped blaming and started worrying. Inside human control sectors, systems changed quietly. Ancient protocols awakened. Emergency clauses written centuries ago were activated. Humanity had never planned for conquest. They had planned for denial. Human leaders did not speak publicly. No messages were sent to the galaxy. No threats were made. Orders moved through silent channels, older than modern empires. Networks designed not to attack, but to restrict. The first door to close was trade. Automated ports shut down without explanation. Cargo ships approaching human stations found docking permissions revoked. Contracts dissolved instantly. Credits frozen mid-transfer. A merchant captain shouted at his console, "We have valid clearance." The system answered with a single line, "Access denied." No reason. No appeal. The second door was movement. Jump corridors shifted. Safe lanes dissolved. Maps that had been accurate for decades no longer worked. Ships that relied on human-calibrated navigation drifted off course, lost in safe but empty space. They were not destroyed. They were stranded. The third door was communication. Relays near human borders stopped responding. Messages entered human space and never returned. Even neutral empires could not reach their own fleets once they crossed certain invisible lines. The galaxy felt it then. A tightening. The ZYRR high strategist demanded answers. "Contact the humans," he ordered. "We demand negotiation." The message was sent through every channel available. No reply came. The ZYRR sent another. Then another. Silence. Not rejection. Absence. Humanity was not refusing to talk. They had removed the possibility. Inside the ZYRR fleet, panic grew slowly. Food reserves dropped. Replacement parts failed to arrive. Minor system faults became major risks. Still no human ships appeared. No battles were fought. Yet, the ZYRR were losing. One cruiser lost power unexpectedly. Life support flickered. Systems recovered. But the fear remained. Another ship reported sense of blindness. Stars disappeared from their maps. Commanders began to realize the truth. Humanity was not attacking them. Humanity was closing the environment itself. Elsewhere in the galaxy, neutral empires tried to intervene. Diplomats rushed to the Galactic Council, demanding explanations. The Council attempted to send a formal inquiry to Earth. It never arrived. For the first time in galactic history, the Council discovered it could not reach a member species. The Council chamber filled with unease. "How can they block us?" one delegate whispered. "They are young," another said. "They should not have this power." An elder species spoke quietly. "They do not have power," it said. "They have preparation." The ZYRR Dominion finally understood the warning spoken weeks ago. If you attack humans, they will deny you every last opportunity. This was what denial looked like. No supply lines. No retreat paths. No allies. Every option removed one by one. The ZYRR attempted a full retreat. Their fleet aligned jump drives and powered engines. Nothing happened. Space itself felt closed. A message appeared on ZYRR command screens. Not spoken. Not transmitted. Displayed. "Retreat unavailable." The word stayed for 3 seconds, then vanished. Fear turned into desperation. The ZYRR broadcast a plea to nearby empires. "We require assistance," they said. "We request emergency corridors." Those messages reached their targets. The answers did not return. Not because the other empires refused, because they could not answer. Human systems had placed invisible walls across space, filters that allowed signals in, but never out. The galaxy was learning a brutal lesson. Human war did not destroy enemies. It isolated them. On a human command station orbiting a dead moon, officers watched status screens. No celebration. No anger. Just cold focus. A junior analyst hesitated before speaking. "Sir," she said, "the ZYRR fleets are trapped." The commander nodded. "Good." "Should we open talks?" she asked. The commander shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "They had that chance." Another officer asked quietly, "For how long do we keep the doors closed?" The commander looked at the screen showing shrinking supply graphs. "As long as necessary," he said. Until they understand the cost of knocking. Back in the ZYRR fleet, time became the enemy. Food was rationed. Energy was conserved. Crews whispered in dark corridors. They had not lost a single battle. Yet they were dying. Slowly. Silently. Hopelessly. The galaxy watched in horror as realization spread. Humanity did not need to conquer stars. They controlled access to them. And once humanity closed the door, it never opened again. Fear did not arrive suddenly. It spread slowly, like a shadow that moved ahead of the light. At first, the galaxy tried to ignore what was happening to the ZYR Dominion. Empires told themselves it was an isolated conflict, a punishment for arrogance, a lesson that would end soon. But it did not end. Weeks passed, then months. The ZYRR fleets remained trapped inside human space. Not destroyed, not attacked, just contained. Their ships still existed. Their crews still lived. But every path forward was closed. Food convoys never arrived. Fuel transfers failed. Emergency beacons echoed into nothing. The ZYRR rulers stopped issuing confident speeches. They stopped promising victory. They began rationing truth. Inside ZYRR ships, lights were dimmed to save power. Entire sections were sealed off. Medical supplies ran low. Engineers cannibalized dead systems to keep critical ones alive. There were no battles to inspire courage. Only waiting. And waiting broke the mind faster than war. The first ZYRR ship surrendered on the 39th cycle. It powered down its weapons and broadcast a universal distress signal. No response came. The second ship attempted self-destruction. Human systems prevented it. The blast never reached critical mass. Even death was denied. That was when panic crossed borders. Other empires watched and finally understood something terrible. This was not a war. It was an example. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The chamber, once full of arrogance and noise, was now quiet. No one laughed. Delegates spoke in whispers. "They are starving," one said. "But the humans do nothing," another replied. "They are letting it happen." An elder species, older than most stars in the room, spoke softly. "Humans are not cruel," it said. "They are precise." The council voted to intervene. A formal plea was drafted and transmitted to human space using every known channel. Neutral wording, respectful tone, promises of mediation. It never reached Earth. The council tried again. Nothing. For the first time in galactic history, the council realized it had no authority. Humanity had stepped outside the system. Smaller civilizations began to panic. Trade routes connected to human networks collapsed. Markets failed. Supply chains snapped overnight. Merchants begged their governments for answers. Governments begged the council. The council had none. One by one, empires sent their own messages to Earth. Apologies, explanations, offers of alliance, all unanswered. The galaxy had never known silence like this. Not the silence of distance, the silence of refusal. Inside the ZYRR command ship, the High Strategist sat alone. His once bright armor was scratched and dull. His eyes were tired. Reports lay scattered around him. Life support, critical in 5 cycles. Food reserves, near exhaustion. Crew morale, broken. He activated a private channel and recorded a message. "To the leaders of Earth," he said, "we surrender." The message was sent. It returned unopened. The High Strategist understood then. Surrender was also an opportunity, and humans were denying those too. Across the galaxy, the fear turned into desperation. Civilizations that had mocked humanity now begged for a pause. Not peace, not forgiveness, just time. They asked humans to stop, to slow down, to allow negotiations. Humanity finally answered, not with a speech, not with diplomats, with a single broadcast sent to every major system at once. The message contained no threats, only facts. "You were warned," it said. "You chose silence. You chose observation. You chose safety over justice." The message paused. "Now observe." Nothing else followed. The galaxy watched as another ZYR fleet lost power. Not suddenly. Gradually, one system after another, the ships drifted, alive, helpless. No human weapons were visible. No fleets arrived to finish them. Humanity did not need to prove strength. The proof was already complete. Some empires began cutting all ties with the ZYR. Others deleted historical records showing past support. A few tried to blame the Council. No excuse mattered. The galaxy begged again. This time, they begged openly. Leaders appeared on public broadcasts. Proud rulers knelt before cameras. Entire civilizations admitted fear. Please, they said, stop this. Earth responded with silence. On Earth, human leaders watched the chaos without celebration. They did not cheer. They did not smile. One advisor spoke quietly. The galaxy is breaking. The leader nodded. They are learning, she replied. Should we give them a pause? The advisor asked. The leader looked at the screen showing the destroyed human colony from weeks ago. No, she said. Pauses are opportunities. The advisor said nothing. Back in the ZYR fleet, crews began recording final messages for families that would never hear them. Not because they would die, but because they would never go home. The galaxy finally understood the human rule. Humans do not punish quickly. They do not forgive easily. And they never stop halfway. When humanity closes every door, begging does not open them. By the time the galaxy realized the final chance still existed, it was already gone. The ZYR Dominion had stopped pretending. They no longer spoke of victory. They no longer spoke of survival. They spoke only of time. Every cycle mattered now. Every hour was counted. Ships floated in place like dead animals caught in invisible nets. Engines still worked, but nowhere could they go. Weapons still functioned, but there was nothing to fight. The enemy was absence. On the ZYR command ship, the high strategist stood before a dark screen. Reports no longer updated automatically. Too many systems had failed. Too many relays were gone. An officer approached him slowly. Sir, she said, voice low, food reserves will end in 6 cycles. The high strategist did not answer. Medical bays are out of supplies, she continued. Life support will fail in 14 cycles. Still silence. Finally, she asked a question no one wanted to speak. Will the humans let us leave? The high strategist closed his eyes. No, he said. They already answered that. The ZYRR made one last attempt. Not a threat, not a demand, not even a surrender. They sent a confession. A full record of the attack on the human colony. Names, orders, commands, proof of guilt. They admitted everything. They offered their leaders for execution. They offered their technology. They offered their future. The message ended with a single sentence. We asked for one chance to survive. The message entered human space. It did not return. That was the final opportunity. Humanity denied it without words. Across the galaxy, panic reached its peak. Entire civilizations froze their fleets in place, afraid to move. Military drills were canceled. Borders were sealed. No one wanted to be misunderstood. No one wanted to be next. A neutral empire attempted to open a humanitarian corridor for ZYR civilians. They did not ask humans for permission. They assumed morality would protect them. The corridor failed. Not destroyed. Refused. A simple status appeared on their navigation system. Route invalid. The neutral empire tried another path. Same result. They stopped trying. The Galactic Council met for the last time. No one called it that, but everyone felt it. The chamber was half empty. Some species had withdrawn entirely. Others attended in silence, afraid even their words were being observed. The high speaker struggled to speak. We must act, it said weakly. We must. An elder delegate interrupted. There is nothing left to act upon, it said. The humans are finished speaking. The council attempted one final broadcast to Earth. Not formal, not political, personal. They transmitted recordings of ZYR children, civilians, workers who had never held weapons. They showed suffering. They showed hunger. They showed fear. The broadcast reached Earth. It was reviewed and archived. No response followed. Humanity had drawn a line long ago. Not when the war began. Not when the warning was ignored. But when the first colony burned. Everything after that was consequence. Inside Human Command, no celebrations took place. No victory speeches were written. No flags were raised. Only procedures continued. Systems monitored supply depletion curves. Psychological stress markers. Probability of internal collapse. A young officer hesitated as she reviewed the data. "Sir," she said quietly, "they're begging." The commander did not look up. "Yes," he replied. "They're offering everything," she said. "Even their leaders." The commander finally turned. "They already offered us something," he said. "They offered us the chance to forgive." He paused. "They spent it." Back in the ZYRR fleet, discipline collapsed. Crews argued. Some prayed. Some screamed. Some sat in silence until their voices were gone. A ship attempted mutiny. The crew tried to force their captain to ram a human colony world, hoping death would be faster. Human systems shut down their engines. Even that was denied. A ZYRR officer laughed hysterically. "They won't even let us die on our own terms," he said. He was right. The final message came not from Earth, but from human space itself. A system-wide update, pushed silently into every trapped ZYRR ship. No sound, no image, just text. You were warned. You were given time. You chose force. A pause. There are no more choices. Life support on the first ZYRR ship failed 2 cycles later. Not suddenly. Gradually. The lights dimmed. Oxygen thinned. Human systems did not interfere. They only watched. Across the galaxy, no one spoke anymore. Fear had replaced language. History was being written without words. Empires rewrote doctrines. Militaries dismantled attack plans. Children were taught a new lesson about humans. Not that they were violent, but that they were final. On Earth, Ambassador Elias Morgan stood alone again, staring at the stars. A junior aide approached. "Sir," she said, "the galaxy is waiting." Elias did not turn. "They always are," he replied. "Will this end?" she asked. He was silent for a long time. "It already did," he said finally, "the moment they ignored the warning." And in the dark space between stars, the last opportunity died. Not with fire, but with silence. History did not record the moment the ZYRR Dominion died. There was no final explosion, no last battle, no heroic stand. The galaxy simply stopped receiving ZYRR signals. At first, observers assumed a system failure, then a delay, then a blackout. Days passed. Nothing returned. Scouts sent near former ZYRR space found empty stars. Their world still existed. Their cities still stood. But no power flowed. No ships moved. No voices answered. The ZYRR Dominion was not destroyed. It was ended. Quietly. Completely. The galaxy held its breath. No one celebrated. No one mourned publicly. Fear had replaced emotion. Every empire reviewed its past actions, its border incidents, its silent approvals. Because now everyone understood the truth. Humans did not fight wars to win. They fought wars to close chapters. The Galactic Council never officially disbanded, but it stopped meeting. There was no need. Laws meant nothing if one species could step outside them. Instead, a new order formed. Not announced, not voted on, accepted. Across thousands of systems, a single rule spread. It appeared in military doctrine, trade agreements, school lessons, and emergency protocols. Sometimes written, sometimes spoken, always remembered. Do not attack humans. Not avoid conflict. Not seek peace. Do not attack, because peace implied negotiation, and negotiation implied opportunity. Humans did not give those twice. Years later, a border incident occurred near human space. A patrol ship from a minor empire drifted too close to a restricted zone. Its weapons were powered down. Its captain broadcast apologies before being asked. Human systems responded immediately, not with fire, With a corridor, a safe path opened. The ship was guided out. No words were exchanged. The message was clear. Obedience was noticed. Defiance was final. On Earth, humanity changed too. Not outwardly. Cities still grew. Children still played. Ships still explored. But something hardened beneath it all. Human leaders no longer spoke in warnings. They spoke in policies. Every first contact protocol included a silent clause. If attacked, deny everything. Not revenge. Not anger. Removal. A generation later, students across the galaxy studied the ZYR event. They learned it as a turning point. Not the fall of an empire, the end of an idea. That the galaxy was a place where power could be tested freely. That lesson was buried with the ZYR. Now, power was measured by restraint, and by what happened when restraint ended. On a quiet human station orbiting a dying star, Ambassador Elias Morgan prepared for retirement. He had aged. His hair had turned gray. His voice was slower now. A young diplomat stood beside him, reviewing star charts. "Sir," she asked, "do you ever regret it?" Elias did not answer at first. "Regret what?" he asked. "The silence," she said. "The way it ended." Elias looked at the stars. Some were marked. Others were not. "We gave them words," he said. "They answered with fire." He paused. What came after was not choice. It was consequence. "But the ZYR are gone," she said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied. "And so are wars like that." She considered that. "They call it the rule now," she said. "The rule written in blood and stars." Elias nodded. "Rules only matter when they are enforced," he said. "And if someone forgets?" she asked. Elias turned to her. "Then they will remember," he said, briefly. Far beyond human space, explorers from a new species discovered ancient wreckage. Frozen ships. Empty hulls drifting in silence. Their historians trace the markings. ZYR design. The explorers record a warning beacon near the site. They did not know who placed it. There was no signature, just words carved into data and metal alike. This space is quiet for a reason. The explorers turned back. They did not ask questions. Back on Earth, a child asked a teacher why humans did not rule the galaxy. The teacher smiled gently. "Because ruling requires attention," she said, "and humans prefer peace." The child thought about that. "And if someone takes that peace?" the child asked. The teacher's smile faded, just a little. "Then there will be no more lessons," she said. The stars continued to burn. Civilizations rose and fell. Trade flowed. Borders held. And above it all, the rule endured, not enforced by fleets, not written in treaties, but carved into memory by an absence no one dared to repeat, because the galaxy had learned, at a cost it would never forget, do not attack humans. There will be no second warning. There will be no final opportunity. Only silence.